welcome and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping our newscast. The company negotiating on behalf of Innovative Cable is still in talks with Viacom to see whether Innovative will lose nearly 20 of its cable channels. Officials from Innovative are expecting a positive outcome and hope those talks will wrap up soon. News 2's Erica Parsons has an update.
17 cable channels expected to go black Monday night were still up and running Tuesday morning. In fact, those channels continue to be available throughout Tuesday because of hourly extensions granted by Viacom and MTV networks.
As we negotiate, the extensions are being provided so our customers can continue to enjoy the channels.
Innovative is a member of National Cable Telecommunications Cooperative, or NCTC. It's a not-for-profit cable TV co-op that negotiates programming fees for cable companies across the U.S., and they've been in talks with Viacom and MTV networks over several popular channels that include Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, and MTV. Viacom wants to increase rates more than 40 times the rate of inflation, and it's not a deal Innovative and the other 794 cable companies represented by the co-op are willing to accept.
It's very important for us to maintain our position in this negotiation to ensure that as other contracts come into play, we can stand together and make sure that we get the best rates, because in turn we have to pass those rates to our customers, and we are aware of the challenges and we want to make sure that, you know, we can minimize that impact.
Nearly 23,000 local customers would be affected by the blackout if a deal isn't reached with Viacom, but Innovative officials feel a positive outcome will be reached.
We are very hopeful that by the end of the day today, we will definitely have resolution and we can proceed with finalizing the contract.
Originally, Viacom had refused to extend the contract for the 17 channels while negotiations were going on, and Innovative officials are taking the hourly extensions as a good sign. If things go south, however, Viacom could deauthorize Innovative satellite receivers, which would darken those channels locally and for 5.3 million subscribers across the nation. For now, Innovative is keeping its customers informed of the progress while updates continue through the website TV on My Side. Erica Parsons, News 2.
The channels affected include all the MTV, VH1, and Nickelodeon channels. It also includes BET, CMT, Comedy Central, Spike TV, and TV Land. Innovative is the parent company of CBS TV2. While double sessions began today, Tuesday, a conference was held last Friday to announce the double sessions for complex and Central High students. This was the scene there today. Education Commissioner Donna Fred Gregory said that in preparing for these double sessions, Education's team looked over all possible options to ensure that the transition for students was as seamless as possible.
We have worked diligently to ensure that there will not be continued disruption to instructional time, and are moving now to working with the unions and the Office of Collective Bargaining to address the make-up days. I wish to thank all of our parents and students for their patience as we continue to work out the logistics of our plan. It is our hope that we will have Central High School return to their campus in short order. But in the meantime, I would like to encourage our Central High School students and our educational complex students to use this challenge as an opportunity to foster new friendships.
Well, in other news, count on 2 to keep you updated. Some sad news to report. 2 men drowned over the weekend in separate incidents while swimming on St. Thomas. Police say 47-year-old James Handley was in the water at Dorothea Beach with his fiancée on Saturday around noon. The Utah visitor had an oar which got away from him, and he was soon struggling in the water before being overcome by the waves. Several people tried to help, but the water was too rough. The body was later recovered near Neltieburg Beach. Meanwhile, another man who attempted to swim from Koki Beach to Tatch Key with a friend Saturday never made it. According to the friend, the two set off around 4 p.m. but got separated by the currents. The Coast Guard got the call Sunday around 10 a.m. for a missing swimmer. They found the body about an hour later near Tatch Key. In other police news, on St. Thomas, they participated in a proactive inspection of the Paul and Pearsons Gardens apartments and recovered a fully loaded firearm around 3:30 p.m. on March 31st. Officers from the Richard Colwood Command, Zone A, and the Special Operations Bureau participated in the inspection. Officers were searching for a suspect who may have been involved in a recent robbery. While checking the hallway of Building 16, police found a fully loaded Glock 9mm handgun wrapped in a T-shirt on top of a television. Behind the television were 18 small plastic bags of crack cocaine. In other areas, police confiscated several potted marijuana plants. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority just started work on a major energy project. You might remember WAPA announcing a shift in fuel source last year that could mean savings for its customers. Well, on Thursday, WAPA just took another major step toward making that plan a reality. News2's April Knight has details.
Exactly what the cost would be. That is a game changer.
They're calling it Project Game Changer, a venture that would slash a chunk of monthly WAPA bills for Virgin Islands residents.
This is an event unlike any other. A reduction in the cost of energy by 30% changes the whole face of the Virgin Islands in terms of its economy, from what you pay at the grocery store to what the hotels charged for their rooms.
Game Changer has been in the works since July 2013, when WAPA announced that it was switching from oil to propane as its major source of fuel. On Thursday, WAPA marked the actual building of the propane facility at a groundbreaking that drew community leaders, WAPA personnel, and other stakeholders.
You completely changed the dialogue within the Virgin Islands. By what you have done, and you stay committed to doing, we no longer are talking about utility costs the same way, because people finally see light at the end of the tunnel.
The number 30 kept popping up, as in 30% in savings that WAPA hopes to provide once the propane facility is fully operational.
All-in cost of this project versus the cost of oil, and we've seen differences in some months over 40%. So I think 30% is a good number, and we'll stick with that.
Partner company Vitol is equally excited, but more focused on construction safety at this stage of the game.
Our goal is to finish this project as quickly as possible, but above all, make sure that we get everybody home at the end of the day safely.
There was a lot of optimism going around at the groundbreaking, but for skeptics who are still doubtful of the propane project.
But sit back and watch the whole thing play out, and it's something that'll be life-lasting for all of us.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
VI Economic Development Authority is hosting an introductory course on economic development. The three-day course, titled Introduction to Economic Development, will be held from April 2nd to the 4th at Frenchman's Reef on St. Thomas. The course will be held each day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and will be moderated by the International Economic Development Council. Professionals who work in various facets of economic development will discuss how local initiatives can achieve a community's goal for economic growth and sustainability. You can call 340-714-1700 for more information. Turning our attention to Washington, D.C., the White House says it reached its goal for enrollment under the new health insurance law. President Obama said more than 7 million people are now insured under the plan known as Obamacare. Marley Hall reports from Washington.
President Obama says the last-minute push to sign up for health care was a success.
7.1 million Americans have now signed up for private insurance plans through these marketplaces.
Enrollment for coverage under the Affordable Care Act is now closed. People who started the process but did not finish will get extra time.
Anybody who was stuck in line because of the huge surge of demand over the past few days can still go back and finish your enrollment.
The final hours of the sign-up were a lot like the beginning, when healthcare.gov was plagued with problems.
Due to high call volume, we are unable to assist you at this time.
Consumers had trouble connecting on the phone and online. At enrollment sites, people waited for hours to sign up. Americans who don't sign up will face fines.
I just don't want to keep on getting more penalized.
Now that millions of Americans are signed up for health insurance, many are now watching to see how the system will work once people start using their new insurance. Marley Hall, CBS News.
And keeping our eye on the economy, Congress has some tough questions for General Motors' new CEO. At a hearing in Washington, legislators said they want to know why GM sold cars with an ignition switch that was not up to standards. GM later failed to fix the faulty part in spite of warnings by their own engineers. The defect has been linked to 13 deaths and dozens of crashes. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 74, Nasdaq 69, S&P 13. Coming up on News 2, a ceremony was held at the Virgin Islands National Guard on St. Croix to dedicate the newly built Joint Force headquarters in honor of the late Gerard Luz James Sr. We'll have highlights from the historic event. Well, that tax deadline draws near now that we are officially in the month of April. Claudette Watson-Anderson, Director of the Virgin Islands Bureau of Internal Revenue, and Aubrey Washington, Interim Dean of the School of Business of UVI, they're both reminding you that UVI accounting students are helping taxpayers with the filing of their 2013 income tax returns. The free volunteer taxpayer assistance program started on all 3 islands in February. Now, this Saturday, April 5th, is the last day. Now, it's being held on St. Thomas. The program is at the Bureau's office in Red Hook. On St. Croix, it's at Estate Diamond, and on St. John at the Motor Vehicle Bureau in Cruz Bay. A ceremony was held at the Virgin Islands National Guard on St. Croix to dedicate the newly built Joint Force headquarters in honor of the late Gerard Luz James Sr. James, who served as the first federally recognized Adjutant General, was given this honor for a number of reasons. News2's Shaniqua Robinson has details.
The Virgin Islands National Guard hosted a dedication and ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially name the Joint Force headquarters in honor of the first federally recognized Adjutant General of the Virgin Islands National Guard, Gerard Luz James Sr.
Today we have the honor of opening up the doors to a man who had a tremendous impact with our community. The first African American that was appointed and confirmed as an Adjutant General. An African American that served for the territory that formed the 1st 52nd Troop of the Army. So we're just not honoring someone for their military service, we're honoring someone today for their community service, for their community commitment.
You know, I'm so honored and I'm really honored because of the name of the building. I think this would be a great improvement for National Guard. Not only the local guard, but again, it can be a training center for Caribbean.
The building is the result of many years of planning and numerous man-hours to ensure that the funding and appropriate design met the needs of the VI National Guard.
In this building, you're going to find a command suite, a joint operations center, which connects us to the world with state-of-the-art technology and secured connectivity, 4 conference rooms, a drill hall, a state-of-the-art mail room, and spaces for 120 employees.
The cutting of the ribbon sealed the deal as the building was officially named after a man who, amongst many other things, was credited with the formation of the U.S. Army Reserve in the Virgin Islands.
It is actually overwhelming for a man that dedicated his life to the people of the Virgin Islands, did everything he could possibly do, especially in the form of military and being an attorney and just being a good humanitarian. It's just a fitting thing in my opinion.
Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
Are you interested in a law enforcement career? Well, mark this on your calendar. The Law Enforcement Career and Recruitment Fair will be held on Wednesday, April 2nd at the Great Hall on the St. Croix UVI campus. That's from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, if you attend, you will meet professionals in many law enforcement fields and have the opportunity to discuss employment options. Law enforcement offers exciting and fulfilling career opportunities. Participating federal and local law enforcement agencies include Drug Enforcement and Administration, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Internal Revenue Service, Virgin Islands Police Department, U.S. Coast Guard, Department of Planning and Natural Resources, Homeland Security, Investigations, and much, much more. Tillett Gardens continues to keep the arts alive with its Arts Alive program. Last week, a music class at the Shalimali High School benefited from it when Dar Williams, one of the touring artists invited by Arts Alive, paid a visit and shared her story with the students.
I've been a touring songwriter for about 20 years now. The album that's on has been around for 20 years this year. And I've gone all over the United States. I've toured in Great Britain. You play a little, but little goes a long way. So, you know, finding a way to get a little bit of knowledge on an instrument is can give you a lot for them.
Well, there was lots of pride on display on Friday when the University of the Virgin Islands celebrated UVI Pride Day on both St. Thomas and St. Croix. UVI engaged the participation of the 4 public high schools on both islands, ending with a dynamic rally at Ivana Udorakan High School. According to the university, Pride Day is not just about reaching out to the community. It's importantly about acknowledging the many UVI alumni who are succeeding and making a difference in their chosen field. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.